What is up, everybody? It's Zach. I'm back. I spent a couple weeks just not uploading because I've been waiting on parts. Just because things are slow shipping, but I finally got everything for this car. I finally got it all in. Everything is running. I'm ecstatic that it's back up and going because, boy, do I get tired of driving my truck all the time. As much as I like it, but I can't do that 24/7. I can't be stuck with the same vehicle. I will go insane. It's just how it goes. If you know me, you know that's how it works with me. So I'm putting that out there. But we're going for a little drive. We're going to go check up on a friend of mine. He's been doing some work that I've been recommending him for, and I just kind of want to see what's going on. So there hasn't been that much exciting going on just because there's nothing to do. As per usual for me anyway. There's probably plenty to do. I just have to go find it. So right now I'm playing with the car a little bit. I mean, it does the thing much better than it did before. So I'm guessing that it's happy. It's just a little bit warm in here because the AC isn't working at all. Just because I had to take the whole thing apart and there was nothing left in it by the time I got to it. That beaver had done the trick. I'm sorry to the ozone hole that's maybe repaired itself. That's what I hear. That's what I read. So, yeah, these things happen. You can expect to not have any AC after you have an accident like that bends everything and crumples things and punctures things. What a nightmare. So it's a little warm in here and I have the windows mostly up just because I don't want you to hear all the wind noise. But it's 86 degrees outside right now in the shade, so it's warm in here. I don't care. I'm having fun. I like making videos when I can, so this is the opportunity to do it today. What else could I tell you about? Not very much, because I'm waiting for things to happen in life. So I'm thinking at some point we've got to do some more work to this car. We've got to do some more modifications. I've been inspired by a couple things I've seen. I would like to get some extra things done with this car just to make it look a tad bit neater than it is. It's definitely looking like it's a 12-year-old car at this point. You can keep a car as shiny as you want for as long as you want, as long as you're willing to put in the work to do it. But a lot of people don't. I mean, let's face it, your car is what gets you to work, what gets your kids around. It gets you from point A to B most of the time. Most people could give a crap less about how shiny it looks all the time. Some people are just different. This car isn't my daily driver. I'd rather enjoy this car. Yes, it is 12 to 13 years old at this point, but it still looks like it did the day it was new. So there's something to be said for that. With that being said, this car looks great. I'm just a little tired of the looks, so I'm going to do a little extra. It's going to be nothing major. I've already put a lot of money into it this past few weeks, just getting things back up to being operational. So I'm not going to tell you what I want to do to it, and some of you probably think, oh, hey, that's stupid. Why would you do that? It's wasting money. Nobody gives a crap. Well, I give a crap, so that's why I'm going to do it. I don't care what you think, so I'm just going to go ahead. But everything other than the AC on this car is working pretty darn good. So I was given a price of about $86 to vacuum it out just to be sure and put all new stuff in it. And you know, it's so weird not having any other cars really around. Just you can have a lot of fun. Don't tell anybody that. I wish I really had more of an update for you. I've just been working a lot. Things are busy 24/7 right now for the most part. I'm working 6 days a week. I can't say that I work late every day because I don't, but I'm at least working 6 days a week, and that makes it a little bit hard to do an upload schedule and project schedule. So I am going to do something to fix that soon, which is called knock a day off and make it a 5-day week, because I don't really care for 6-day weeks personally. So hopefully we can get out of that little rut we're in. But I'm just trying to get things back to square one since we had to take an extra 4 weeks off, you know, just so that we could do what we have to do to keep people safe I don't feel bad about it. I'm just working an extra day a week right now, and we'll get back there. And once we get other things straightened out, we've got some projects coming up with the Passat. I know that nobody really gives a crap about that car either, but hey, I think Volkswagens are cool, and especially if they're really good looking and they've been kept in good shape, I am interested. So there's some things I'm going to do with that car. I'll get into that more during the next video, but I had an experience that almost made me poop myself. So if that says anything, it needs some parts. So with that being said, I just want you to know that everything is going well. I'm just paying attention to something here. Okay. So everything's going well, and life is good. And now we've got another thing going on. Alright, thanks for slamming on the brakes. Okay. Things are good. We're going to get back to normal as far as my weekend projects, so I can start filming them. I'd love to keep you guys updated with everything I'm up to just in my spare time. I'm not so much a fan of filming my work, but maybe we could change that, so we'll see what happens on that front. However, I've got to make a stop here, so please, I hope you enjoy the little tidbit I did on the brakes on the Passat. Okay, so as you can see, I've been playing around a bit here. I think I found the source of all the squeaking. This rotor right here is really badly grooved on the back side. The front side not so bad, but usually the back side will take most of the hit anyway. The pads they're not terrible, they're not totally unsafe, but they're definitely grooved up. Something I think may have gotten in there, or this was just simply a poorly manufactured rotor. So we're just going to get some new stuff and slap it on there and call it a day. Everything else looks good. This is a pretty easy job to do. I'm happy for that, so we'll see what happens next. Well guys, it's windy, it's cold, and I need a tool, so off we go. I'm going to try not to hit anything on the way out, so we'll see how that goes for me. So on the topic of getting this car fixed, I did the first side of brakes. Turned out okay. Just took me a few minutes to get the thing figured out, just because I haven't done these in a long time. So here are the tools you'll need. You'll need a breaker bar, or whatever it is that you have that has a size 17 to get your lugs off, or in this case, studs off. And you'll need a little bit of a pry bar thing, whatever you got that'll work. A size 14, size 15 box and closed end wrench, just because it's the handiest thing to have in a situation, and a caliper tool. So I'm going to show you a little bit about this. And you jack it up after you find a good jack point. Get her up off the ground. Take her a moment, but we'll get there. I'm one-handing this. Alright, we're off the ground. And don't forget your jack stand, where the heck is that thing? There it is, we found it. Now it's in a good spot. And take your tire off, as well as the dust shield. And we've got the brakes. So basically all you're going to have to do is take that bolt out and that bottom bolt to get started. And once you do that, things are, well, I would say easy, but they're straightforward. So now you'll want your size 14 to get on the end of that on each one, but they're kind of in a tight space, so you'll need to have the box end, or well, you can have the box door open, then it doesn't really matter. I just go with the boxed end. So only because there's just tight clearance, you can't get a ratchet in there, so just use that. And in the situation where the other half of it wants to spin with the outer bolt, just put the 15 on there and use both hands, and you'll end up getting it off, believe me. Alright, now that those bolts are out of the way, this one's not going to really completely come out because of the parking brake assembly, but that's fine. Just get it as far out of the way as you possibly can. And just take your little pry and doohickey thing, get in there, and start taking that thing out. And try not to let it fly. Try not to let it fly off when it does, because your cables and your brake lines are all at stake. This one's a little bit tough, so I'm gonna have to get off the camera and work on it a little bit, but basically you're gonna need to tap it and move it back and forth, pry at it, tap at it. It'll eventually come out. And it's off. So these brake pads may have been contributing to a lot of the squealing and squeaking and everything. I mean, there's still some pad left, but they are in some kind of rough shape. So I'm gonna replace them. So basically they kind of just rest here. So I think mostly the other side just popped right out the edge, just like that. This one might be a little tougher. We might have to wait till we get the rotor off. We'll do that. But with this car, the cool thing is, if the rotor wanted to move, I'll have to pound that a little bit too. But I'll show you what the cool part about that is in just a moment. Alright, just a little pounding on the edge, and here's the cool part. See, you can actually wiggle it around the edge of that hardware, so you don't actually have to take all that out of the way, because to be honest with you, the bolts are very rusted and I don't want to deal with it. So, oh look, there's the brake pad. And, well, okay, thank you, focus. This pad should just pop right out the back or out the side, I don't know. Popped right out on the other one. We'll need a bigger hammer. Okay, so I just took a mallet and just knocked it out of there. Not hard. Okay, honestly I did not film that, but this is probably the most annoying part of the whole thing. So you're gonna need this little caliper tool. You can get it pretty much any auto parts store. It's under 20 bucks. And you put it on there and you push and you turn and hope that your piston turns back in, and you do it clockwise. This one turned in just fine. So we're good to put new brakes on. So you grab your new rotor, angle that guy in there, and eventually it'll seat. Alright, and you do have to line up your holes for your studs, because otherwise you'll never get the tire back on. So there's that. And basically you just pop your new pads in the same way they came out, and you go backwards from there, but I'll show you anything if I find that I need to. Alright, so these little guys, I guess you kind of just need to bend them back out of the way a little bit, or bend them flatter to the pad. Otherwise it's not going to let anything go back on right. The other ones look like that was the case too, so I'm just going to bend them a little bit flatter to the pad and then put the caliper on, and that's that. And kind of give it a few love taps so that way they'll kind of settle into place just a little bit, but not really. So you're just going to have to get the bolts lined up, press it in there, and do it that way. Eventually it'll be home free. And we're all back together, ready to go. Just make sure you get your 2 bolts nice and tight. Again, you'll probably have to use both wrenches, but that was that. I'm just going to throw the tire on, the brakes are done. Never forget to tighten your lugs all the way. Just give it a whole bunch of ugga chuggas just to make sure. Oh, okay, it's on. Okay, and you put this little beauty cap back on. We finish. All right, so we're back. The brakes are all in. We're gonna give this thing a start up. Anytime you do a brake job, just make sure you hit the brake pedal a few times, get everything compressed back where you want it, or you could be in for some really silly little surprise. Oh, yeah, we'll deal with that later. But yeah, we're gonna take it for a ride. So I've been driving for a few minutes. All seems well. No more weird noises coming from the back end. No brake squeals. No crunchy noises when I go around a turn. So I think the customer will be happy. The customer as in my cousin, who is lucky that I felt like working on it. So we're back to being safe again. Those brake pads were ready to disintegrate. It didn't matter if they had pad on them or not. They just were not going to be safe for long. And they were telling us all about it. So much nicer not hearing them scrape and get all disintegrated as I try to use them. So with that, this part of the project is over. I'm back again. I just stopped and I checked all that stuff out and hung out with my friend for a few minutes, and we just shot the breeze and, you know, hung out. So now I'm back to fooling around with the car, and I kind of want to take it for a little pull. I did it on the way out of where I was before. I'll be able to tell in a few minutes when I start doing weird things going up hills if it solved the little skip I had. Also, part of the little skip, I think, was the fact that my spark plugs were not tight, and I tightened them when I replaced them. So, and I think it's because I beat on this engine a little bit, so I'm not really sure, but I tightened them back up. We're down to spec. I'm going to check them again in a month or so. If they're loose again, I'm just going to do something, but for now, everything seems to be good. So I'm going to get going. It's time for me to go home, edit this video, and I hope you enjoyed the little tidbit on the brakes on the Passat. I'm back one last time. What the heck? I'm enjoying this thing. I don't know. Anybody hear the spoolie boy there? I'm just having a great time. And I just wish it wouldn't end this evening, but what are you gonna do? Sometimes you have to go home. Now and again. There's some spoolie action. We caught the check engine light finally. So I broke it, I think. Another coil mishap. I believe we had a cylinder 3 misfire when I started playing around again. I don't get it, but I'm gonna assume it's another coil. I've been going through these coils like crazy. I think they're just cheap shit coils. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm gonna have to figure that out. That's probably what it is. But I'm also getting a boost cut problem, P2568. So I gotta figure out why we're hitting boost cut. I'm not sure if it's because we were having a spark problem or what was going on, but it better not be a turbo problem because it's way the heck down in there. But we'll find out eventually. I will update you guys when I know something. But that's what happens when you try to have fun. Alright, bye. I think we fixed it. We're gonna give this a shot, and I just wanna see if I can get this on camera before any cars are coming, but yeah, well, okay, now there's one coming, but here's an example. This is normal mode. I think we fixed the misfire. Yeah, I think we need to have a bonfire soon. Certain friend. Certain fire pit. Well, I think we'll do that. However, I think the Jetta is straightened out enough now to run for a while and just get me around and have a lot of fun. But if you saw the light on the dash that resembles a light, I've been kind of playing around with a few little things too, so maybe that'll clue you in as to what the next mod will be. I don't know. Maybe you're smart enough to figure it out. We'll find out. Drop it in the comments and see what I'm doing, and I'll let you know if you're right. With that, I am going to end the video here. It is time to get some rest, and it is also time to edit this video. So I will see you next time.